Hey, welcome to the Lightning Leader Show. I'm your host, John Register. Every leader eventually reaches a moment where the atmosphere changes. Pressure builds, information is incomplete, the stakes rise, and most leaders wait. Lightning leaders don't. They learn to read the charge before everyone else sees the storm. On this show, we explore the decisions that shape organizations through the 5 moments every executive encounters: charge, reckoning, revision, renewal, resonance. Today's guest has spent decades helping organizations create experiences where business relationships are built, strategies are launched, and industries move forward. As president and CEO of ConferenceDirect, Jerry Horan leads one of the most respected organizations in the meetings and hospitality industry. Jerry has spent more than 15 years helping lead ConferenceDirect, served first as the Chief Operating Officer, then President and Chief Operating Officer, and today is President and Chief Executive Officer. His leadership has guided the company through significant industry disruptions while continuing to strengthen relationships between corporations, associations, hospitality partners, and meeting professionals. Today we're going beyond events. We're talking about leadership under pressure, decision velocity, and what it takes to build organizations that continue to grow in one of the most relationship-driven businesses in the world. We're going to meet Jerry right after this. I told you, everybody, we have him here. Jerry's in the house, in the building. We're at D26. Thank you so much for being on.
You bet. It's an honor to be here, and I'm glad we're here together.
Absolutely. So my first question to my guests is always, what did you have to amputate in order to elevate to your success?
You know, it's a good question, and I'll say to you, I had 14 years with Hilton Hotels, and those were like my formative years of understanding the business and asking a lot of questions and asking for more responsibility. And those were my formative years into the industry. And then going to ConferenceDirect, which at the time we were a year and a half old. Now we're closing in on 30 years of business. So I've been with the company 28 years. It's been a learning curve with a startup in terms of working hard, staying dedicated, and asking for more responsibilities. I think that's the key to propelling yourself, is how do you stand out? And for somebody to stand out, they've got to ask for more, be responsive, deliver results, ask for more, deliver results. And I'm very much keen on that type of hard work to get yourself ahead.
Do you think with the hard work, because I talk to students a lot about the hard work.
Yeah.
And you have, say if you have a grid, right, a quadrant grid. So you have hard work and a high payout. Then the next quadrant you have hard work, low payout. Quadrant below that you have low work, high payout. And you have low work, low payout.
Yeah.
Which is the bucket that you think that hospitality generally is in when you were thinking about that from the hard work perspective?
I thought hard work would result in high return, high income. Now, I have 5 children we were talking about. My children look at it and say, how do I work more efficiently?
Yes.
They value their time very much so, and they say, well, Dad, you could do something more efficiently if you did it this way. And I think we at the older age are set, and we've been doing it this way for so many years, and now we've got new tools, AI, and these things that are coming to us that we've got to learn to adapt to and make our jobs easier, because time is valuable. In fact, time is the most precious thing we have. Payroll is a very large expense in the hospitality industry.
It's an expense in my business too.
It is 100% what
Yeah.
the payroll and managing the efficiency of your payroll and your team is critical to the success of any kind of hospitality company that is in our business, because we are 100% labor-intensive, service-oriented organizations.
When I'm looking at AI right now, I think it's doing faster work for me, things that I couldn't do. It would take me a longer time to do.
Yeah.
But then I start putting more stuff onto my plate because it's getting that stuff done. So I think I could do actually more. Have you been finding that true as well?
You know, I have found it to I've actually found it to make me much more thoughtful about the information I'm delivering now, because it gives you so much information that you now have to say, okay, how do I get it to a skinny it down to really the message that I want it to say versus what the machine is saying that I should say. So I think it's making us work smarter. It's not a perfectional tool yet, but the future will definitely make myself, our employees, our team much more efficient in terms of productivity. I see it, and I'm already seeing it with our team.
I want to talk a little bit more about this disruption, because that's a disruptor that's happening in the industry right now.
Yeah.
Where maybe it's food and beverage, or heads in beds, and making sure that the counts are right that we have in other areas as well, as we look at the entire industry as the supply chain is hitting and how it's affected. Every industry has signals before disruption really becomes obvious. What are the early charges that you see today that many CEOs in the meetings industry still are underestimating?
I'll go back to our labor force.
Yeah.
I feel a threat to our industry is not recruiting, not reinvesting in our employees and our future employees. Brian Stevens, our founder, he just started a fund for education, specifically for the hospitality industry, so that we can start to develop future leaders of the opportunity with our industry. I look at our industry. I fell into it 34 years ago. I was offered a job with Hilton. I said, sure, why not? I'll try it.
Yeah.
And I stayed for 14 years, and it was that foundation that enabled me to move into ConferenceDirect. If it wasn't for the 14 years with Hilton, I don't know if ConferenceDirect would be as successful today as it was, because of what we did learn from the hotel side of our business. There's such a correlation in understanding the guest, understanding the customer, understanding the needs of the customer. Were all important factors for our success at ConferenceDirect.
And you're saying that's growing that pipeline of talent.
Yeah.
Underneath it. It's interesting. My daughter's in the hospitality space now, and so she went to your competitor.
Yeah, okay.
from Hilton.
Okay.
It begins with the M.
Yeah.
Ends with the T. And she's doing very well, and she started that same way. Worked for the Broadmoor Hotel in Colorado Springs for a little while. And I agree. I think that we have to, really begin to grow the industry from the youth that are coming up and sharing how positive it is. I'm also seeing, though, our pyramid, which we have the top of the pyramid is where the executives level is, and you have the bottom part of the pyramid, and that's where all our juniors are coming in. Because of AI, a lot of those executives are now shorting those individuals, letting those folks go and trying to replace with the AI, and so we're getting this diamond shape right in the middle. So we're getting diamond heavy on the middle side. Are you seeing that in hospitality right now, and if so, then what's the ramification that might happen for our junior level leaders?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I think the hospitality industry is a little slow to adapt. And in this situation, I think we are still very much a service-oriented business. We have tools that if a customer wants to go book a hotel directly, they can do it. But most customers prefer to work with companies like mine that we go out, we do the search, we help them plan the meeting, we help them negotiate the contract. There's so many facets of our business that booking a hotel directly, a lot of customers, you can do it. You have a small meeting, you have 10 people, and it's efficient. But for the most part, I would say most of our customers prefer to work with somebody on the other end of a phone call or in direct engagement with the hotel contact.
That's interesting. That in this space, there's so many of what you manage in that whole supply chain for that end client, that you can put the heads in bed. You can make sure that everything is moving forward. When you look at your journey and the decisions that you had to make, what have been some of those hard decisions that have, either kept you up at night, or am I making the right call here? And so that's part A of the question. Part B is, who do you go to in those moments? Who's like your trusted advisors
Yeah, that's
around
a good
that?
question. And everybody needs a trusted advisor. I've been with ConferenceDirect 27 years now, and I took over as CEO for the founder of the company, who's founded the company and started it. And we grew together for 27 years, but ultimately I worked for him. And then having to turn the keys over to somebody else who was me, I felt like I was very qualified, but you do have questions that you do want to run by somebody and say, what do you think about this? Am I on base about this? And just reassures in some cases that you're making the right decision and you're being thoughtful of what I say to my team is, like, you have stakeholders. You have customers, you have employees, you have partners. You have to look at all those decisions that we make and what is the ramifications to each of those stakeholders. And are we making the right decisions in the best interest and keeping in mind each of those stakeholders?
Yeah, I think it's critical. I told you a little earlier before we started, I was the CEO for like a hot minute, for like 7 months as an interim CEO for a board decision for the Amputee Coalition. And I had about 2 advisors around me that I could really call on. One was a person who is a business advisor, and we talk on a monthly basis. And another one was a person that founded, I won't say the name because it might give him away, but he's another founder. And we just met in a location, and without really wanting anything from him, he kind of became this advisor for me during some of these difficult times, difficult situations that I've had. Talk to us about how you seek those individuals out at your level.
Yeah, I mean, you have business questions you have that may affect the business, and there's times I talk to my wife. She, I've been married for 35 years. She understands the business very much so. I'll ask her what's her opinion. I'll ask former bosses that I've worked with that I feel that have had formative parts of my life that I trust, that help me and guide me with making right decisions. Again, looking through the lens, I think what happens is that you become so focused maybe on one aspect of a decision versus what is the ramifications to the other stakeholders within organizations.
Yeah.
And I think that's, and there's another thing really, John, that I also look like, is this a short-term decision or is this a long-term decision? Sometimes we make decisions and, I'm thinking 10 years. Like, I'm going to make a decision, is this going to stick for 10 years? Or is this really a 30-day, 60-day, hey, we've got to make a hard decision for a short period of time. But I think you have to, I'll say this too, that you have to be convicted of your decisions. You have to get the team behind you with your decisions. It may be my decision, but I have to bring the team along.
Sure.
And I think that's one fundamental aspect, is that I need to get the buy-in of my team on my decisions or their decisions, or collectively as we decide together, this is a group decision that we're going to do together. I think it's important for executives to bring in others in the decision-making process, to get their buy-in, to get their support in terms of implementing whatever that decision might be, so that they understand it and they can explain it to their employees that they have.
Very good. We are talking with Jerry Horan. He's the CEO of ConferenceDirect, and we're going to ask another question coming up right after this quick little break, and that is, what is the business of ConferenceDirect? We'll be right back right after this break. Where will you be on the other side of fear, on the other side of your mountain, on the other side of your breakthrough? What does it mean to inspire a room, to
to facilitate the brilliance already present, to not just speak to an audience, but to engage with them, to guide, activate, and transform. My story is one of transformation. A world-class athlete, combat veteran who faced a life-altering amputation. I lost 2 careers with 1 wrong step. And what I discovered in that journey is this: truth outweighs fear. We commit to courageous lives. Hi, I'm John Register. You might call me a keynote speaker, but I'm here to tell you I'm much more than that. Every event I'm part of addresses the same challenges: fear of change, uncertainty in leadership, or simply the need to inspire action. My role: to help people embrace change, find their courage, and make an impact, not just for themselves, but for everyone around them. Reckoning, revision, renewal. That's the journey to transformation. Build the mindset to thrive in new environments. Amputate your fear and elevate your success. So in high-stakes transition, whether you're going through a merger and acquisition or a company reorganization, you have to understand that all the things that are going to happen in this transition are going to be challenging. But remember, it's always never about the race. It's always about the relationships. So whether you're looking to energize your next event, navigate high-stakes transitions, or create moments of courageous transformation, I'm here to help you make that happen.
All right, we're back with CEO Jerry Horan here, and we are just asked the question, what is the business of ConferenceDirect? What are you doing here?
Yeah, what are we doing here? So we're in beautiful Los Angeles at the Intercon. If you haven't been to this hotel, it's an incredible hotel, beautiful hotel. We are here at our what we call our D26 event. It's our diversity conference, and we started this event, I think it's our 7th year. And this event really is for us to bring together like-minded individuals that want to talk about diversity topics. You know, at the George Floyd incident, the murder, that was really where some hard conversations took place amongst our associates, our employees, where, you know, one of my associates, Brian Chisholm, said to me, like, we are now having conversations that took place in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. And now we can have open discussions about topics and what is the company doing and how can we do things better to make it more inclusive and being sensitive to hiring, to training, to things that we're doing to make our company more inclusive. And so we took it one step there, and then we said, let's have a conference. Let's have a conference and bring together some of our customers so that we can understand from our customers challenges. And in this room for the next 2 days, we have about 150 people, of which 50 are customers, both corporate and association customers that are here that want to talk about diversity, inclusion. And in today's environment, it's become, it's been a hard topic.
Sure.
Let's just put it out there.
Yeah.
I mean, in some cases, you can't advertise that you are having diversity as part of your conference. You can have diversity sessions.
In the title, yeah.
In the titles.
Yeah, right.
2 years ago, I was suggested to me from an association executive that you should change your name on D26, or at the time D24, and you need to change that. Mm-hmm. And I took it, you know, we talk about decisions, right?
Right, yeah.
So I took it to our committees, and I said, listen, this is what's been recommended to me, that I should change the name of our conference. And they said, you know, please don't. And I went with them. I stood behind them, and they said, please don't do it. And I was told, you're going to probably have some fallout. You're not going to have participation. And that's not been the case at all. I'm glad we stayed the course. I told everybody in the room last year, we're staying the course here. And we feel very strongly that this is our culture.
Yeah.
We are a minority-owned business. We are proud of that, and I'm proud to lead this company. And this, as long as I remain CEO, I said we're going to have this event.
Well, it's a courageous decision. I mean, it's such an environment like this,
Yeah.
and so I applaud you for that, because folks will kind of wilt to and bend to the pressure. But when you stand on your core values, there's only one decision that can be made.
Yeah.
Even when if you think it might cost you, and you find out later on, the troops will rise up for that.
Yeah.
So that is a courageous decision.
John,
Go ahead.
I was saying to somebody asked me about the event, and I told, we have a corporate event, we have an association event, we have a CEO event, and I said, this event, I have more customers say to me, thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for putting this on. This is a great topic, and please continue it. And I always walk away from this feeling like, reassured that you've made a decision right. And I feel very strongly that our customers really appreciate the fact that we put the time and effort into this topic, and they appreciate it.
Well, it's evident. I mean, I've reached out to several on LinkedIn and gotten said, glad you're coming, and
Yeah.
And we're excited. It's my favorite conference to go to. So that preset really does elevate,
Yeah.
because of the culture that you've created here.
Yeah, this event's different. You'll see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you're here because you'll be a great speaker for the group. And I'll say that we don't really talk about a lot of hotel issues. We talk about really, what does it mean to have an inclusive event? What are you doing to make inclusivity, and helping each other kind of answer some of the hard questions that they're facing today, from a Fortune 10 company to a very small association that is here.
And what are some of those challenges that you've seen over the years, like as it affects supply chain, or anybody, what you have to do to put on an event?
In terms of this event, or just
Well,
in
no,
general?
just in general. So your customer base, they're coming here to learn
Yeah.
of how they can impact their supply chain, or impact the meetings that they are hosting and having.
A lot of them here want to talk about how do they make their events more inclusive. And the challenge that they're facing is that they can't put it on their websites.
Right.
They have to be careful how they market it. And so what are you doing to get around that? And that's kind of the questions that a lot of them want to talk about. Safety is another big issue. Do we feel safe going to a destination? Do we feel safe going to a hotel?
Wow.
You would sit there, I was like, wow, that's a topic that
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
of concern to you. And I have a panel that I'm going to talk about, and definitely safety was like a very top on their list in terms of feeling welcome and feeling safe in a safe environment.
Yeah, a lot of executives are focused in on the bottom line, on the revenue. Of course, that's because that's what we have to do all the time. But safety, making sure people feel belonging,
Yeah.
And because that creates a safe environment as well. So I just say kudos to you all for doing that. If you could give a piece of advice to a newly appointed CEO entering today's business climate, what decision would you encourage them to make in their first 90 days?
Evaluate your team. Surround yourself with the right people, people that you can trust. That's key. I think I was blessed to walk into a situation where the team was already there and developed, and I was part of that team. I think it's important to have the right chemistry of people that are going to be focused on the same values that you are, and going to work to the level and expectation that you expect them to do. I think that's important too. So surround yourself with the right people. That's number one, and treat them well.
Yeah.
I think if you treat them well and things go well, they'll stick by your side and be loyal to you. But I think surrounding yourself with the right people and evaluating your people right off the bat is most important.
Yeah, treating people well. We've been having this recurring conversation in my small little world.
Yeah.
And it's just goes so far to just value somebody and just to see how they're showing up and to notice if they're having an off day.
Yeah.
one of the things, I don't know if this is something you've done, one of the things I did was kind of just did a walk around and just went to cubicle, or if they're on a Zoom call, just checking in, you know, how you doing. Don't want anything, just want to make sure everything's going well in your world.
Yeah, you know, and I think, you know, I commend you. That's 100%. I agree with that. You know, ask them how their job's going. You know, what's hard, what's frustrating. And, you know, there's times where I actually will sit with somebody in a cube and say, okay, explain this to me. I don't understand what you're doing, so help me. And I think that's important to understand what the you know, from a very, you know, starting position to any of the executive positions, a lot of the bottleneck happens at the lower end, right? So understanding that part of the business is critical, the supply chain, as far as what's working and what's not working, and asking the right questions, and the employees feeling that they can come in and have an open door policy to say, like, you know, I need help, or I don't understand this, or I need approval on this. I feel we have a very, flat organization. There's not a lot of layers within our company, and we make decisions. And you know what? If you make the wrong decision, you made the wrong decision, but let's learn from it.
Yeah.
Nobody made more wrong decisions than me. I always say that, like, trust me. But you own it.
Right.
You have to own your decisions. But if you own it and you made a mistake, you move on. It's a learning lesson. My boss used to say, like, please don't make that mistake again. Did you learn from it?
Right.
And I think that's part of leadership, is making hard decisions and not easy decisions. But you got to take that risk at times.
I'm laughing because it triggered a thought. Yeah.
A sleepless night.
No, it was a chastisement in a good way from a boss I had, and he was a great leader. His name Mick. He's passed on. I took a young soldier when I was in my day of doing 3-day meetings, and I took a young soldier with me to Belgium, and we did our 3-day meeting, and I said, hey, let's just jump in the car, let's go hit Paris real quick, because it's just right down, it's hop, skip, and jump. And we just zipped around Paris really, really fast and came back out, and we flew out the next day. And when I told Mick about the story, he's like, how dare you take this young soldier over there for, you know, he might not ever get back to Belgium. Take the extra 2 days, 3 days, whatever you need. Just show, you know, have the time, and because you don't know the next time you'll have that opportunity to do that. And I've taken that and put that with our family as well. So anytime our family would do something, go to a location, we just take the extra day. And just find out what it is about this community. Yeah.
Good for you.
So it's good for Mick. He's the one that encouraged me to do that.
Yeah. But you listened and you took the advice and you learned from it.
Yeah, and I passed it on to another person as well. So I think that's the whole thing. We want to make it a continuum time frame. When you think about, Jerry, your life, say 15, 20 years from now, and you're looking at it as kind of looking backwards, what do you have to amputate now in order to get there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm 61, so who's the next Jerry? Is part of our succession planning, and it doesn't happen overnight. This is something where you have to plan it out. You have to bring in people. You have to test people. You have to make sure that they are going to fit well with your culture, and whether you stay internally or you bring somebody external into the mix. Those are the hard questions right now that we're trying to evaluate and say, who is our succession plan, and what does that look like for the company? We're a privately, tightly held company, so we're very careful about who we'd want to bring in and lead. But I'll tell you one quality that they have to have. They really got to have that quality of, a good listener, somebody who's going to think about those key stakeholders individually, as individuals, and what decisions he or she makes, that they're going to be important to us in the future of our company. But that's what we're kind of looking at as part of I guess that's part of my job now is to find that person, and we are actively looking.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We've been talking with Jerry Horan. He is the CEO of ConferenceDirect. We're out here at the beautiful Intercon Hotel here in Los Angeles. Right down the street is LA 2028, so we got that coming up as well. Thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you. Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Jerry, you've shared more than leadership principles today. You've shown us how executive decisions compound over time, how relationships become strategic assets, and how leaders create confidence during uncertainty. So thank you for investing your wisdom with us. Thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Lightning Leader AM podcast here. And remember, lightning does not ask permission before it strikes. Leadership isn't measured by how long you studied the storm. It's measured by whether you're willing to read the charge, face the reckoning, embrace the revision, lead renewal, and create resonance that outlives your title. Until next time, I'm John Register. Strike now. Go forth and inspire your world. Bye for now.